How's it, guys? Tomo here for another Reebok Rebel short. Today we've got Carl Schoonbee with us, HYROX athlete extraordinaire. Welcome, Carl. I've known Carl for a long time. Carl had a really great rowing career. I think secretly we're all hoping that we'll see you at another Olympics in the boat. But really great to have you with us. And today we're going to talk rowing and HYROX and powerlifting and all of the wonderful things you've done. Welcome, Carl. You want to give us a little brief overview on your history?
Yeah, sure. I think everywhere the Concept2 rowing machine goes, me and Tomo seem to end up. So here we are again. But yeah, I mean, obviously everyone kind of knows me now for the HYROX side of things, but rowing was the big decade before that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I started at school, kind of just the bug bit, the idea that, there's something I can win at. And then, stuck it out since then. We'll progress through the under-19 team, under-23 team, and then obviously culminating in this tennis at the Tokyo Olympic Games. So it's basically, that's been the majority of my sporting career. Everything sort of physiological that I've developed has all been around this rowing training and everything. And then, since retiring, I just still super competitive, want to put my body out there, see, what it's capable of while I'm still young. So buggered around with a bit of powerlifting, attempted the ultra trail run nonsense side of things. But eventually now I've converged on this HYROX thing. So that's where we're at the moment.
Cool. I think that big decade that you talk about of rowing, and I think that's such an important part of your career and your physiology. Can you talk to us a little bit about how you think the rowing affected your physiology, how it set you up for different sports? I mean, I've been involved in rowing for a long time, so I kind of understand. We always say, get your kids into boats. It's such a great sport to be part of. It'll change their lives. And I think we don't follow up, so it's a good opportunity to chat to you and go so how have you found that base has transformed?
So I think just in my opinion, having done the sport, trying to keep it slightly unbiased here, for 10 years I think it's the most transferable physiology to anything you can possibly do, obviously short of 100-meter sprinting kind of stuff, but anything in the aerobic domain, rowing is the most transferable sport by far, and I think it builds up the key characteristics that you need the most. So obviously a lot of it's only, in the men's four that I was predominantly in, it's 5.5 to 6 minutes of racing. So it's in that VO2 area, but there was still so much time spent developing, threshold capacity. And then I don't necessarily think that for rowing, you needed to spend that much time developing that very wide aerobic base. Obviously it helps in the long run, but that kind of came as a result of needing to spend so much time in the boat actually just bedding down that technique. You need to take so many rowing strokes to make it efficient. I mean, if you go watch an Olympic rowing race, you're like, oh, these guys are chilling. They're not doing much. These are relaxed faces, relaxed shoulders, and everything. But it's all those years spent making sure the coordination and the efficiency of the rowing stroke is right, because it is so hard. And I don't think people understand when you watch it, people's organs are basically melting underneath what's happening on the surface there. So it's and it takes a diverse sort of physiological skill set to be able to execute 2,000 meters of rowing fast. There's a strength element because you are applying a lot of force. I know it's a 6-minute race, so it's still in that endurance domain. But if you're down at the end of minute 1, you're out of the race, and that's your race over. You're not going to win it to the end of the first minute, but if you're out of it, that's it. You're toast. So you need to have that power from the first second to be able to put yourself in the game, and then from there you just got to bleed it out, and that's where you take everything you can get, as much oxygen delivery to the muscles, whatever you can take, whatever you can train, you need to just put it into your basket to take with you into a rowing race. So
I think not many people understand the physical demands of a 2K 2K race. I think, and some people get I mean, they have a fair understanding because maybe they've done a 2K in the gym before.
Yeah.
Not the way, never the way you guys do a 2K. And I think that's always something so interesting.
Yeah.
If we're ever doing rowing workouts in the gym, I'll always pick the ex-rowers, even if they're unfit, because I know they're going to pull the erg harder, just because you understand what you can do on that machine. But they don't understand the skill that it takes to place the blade at the exact right time, to put the power on where you need it to hold on to the connection. All of those little nuances make such a difference in you have to be efficient.
Yeah.
You can't be completely blown and still perform.
Yeah, 100%. I think what's been nice to see is over the years, as the Concept2 rowing machine has become a little bit more of a status quo in CrossFit, and obviously now with HYROX it's involved, and people are understanding the mechanics of rowing and appreciating the difficulty of the sport. A number of people, they still put the 2,000 meter test on the rowing machine as the hardest physiological test you can possibly do. It is the most ridiculously painful thing on the planet. And the problem is, like, as you progress in rowing and you get fitter and you get stronger and mentally you're able to, push yourself more, it doesn't get easier, it gets harder and it gets worse. And honestly, I've had more sleepless nights over approaching a 2,000 meter rowing test than anything in my entire life. So it's, it really teaches you character. And but then again, it transfers so well, just everything that you develop around performing for 2,000 meters.
Yeah, I think that's also, it's something so interesting. I mean, the Concept2 erg it's been a staple in my life from day one on rowing camp.
Yeah.
That's it. You're on the erg, you need to pull a trial, and you are being tested and judged.
Yeah.
And like in our lives, that was it.
Yeah.
So can you talk a bit about the feeling of that? I mean, it's often people finish a school rowing career and go, never getting on that machine again.
Yeah.
Like because of the pain it inflicts and the amount of time that's spent on it.
Yeah.
So talk to us a little bit about how that shaped you and then how you use that to your advantage now. I mean, we see a lot of your Instagram stuff, you posting intervals, rowing stuff all the time.
Yeah.
How does that work? And I suppose there's not many people who are going to be able to do that because they just don't come from that background.
Yeah. I genuinely think that the 2K test is the biggest scar that's left on any schoolboy rower in this whole country, and it's probably some degree, or at least a big weighted percentage, in terms of why people don't want to continue with rowing once they're done with the sport, because it's just that brutal. But I think the biggest part that I am so grateful for was my school coach, Ernie Steenkamp. He was unbelievably ruthless, unbelievably brutal. And honestly, from day one we started the sport, he did not play games. Like, it was 5 a.m. in the gym. Like, I'm just starting out this thing, man. Like, I'm still learning what the different names are for the pieces of the boat and stuff. But 5 a.m., we're there, whether it's raining, negative degrees, whatever it is. I still recall the one morning, probably within my first, 2 months of doing the sport. And it's now dark winter, and we arrive at the gym 5 a.m. It's pouring with rain. It's like 1 or 2 degrees outside, and our routine was we do 20 minutes of kettlebell swings with like a ridiculously heavy kettlebell for what these 15-year-old kids need, man. And we go out onto the sports field, and I'm like, this oak is just cooked in the head. But he's also not one of the guys to stand inside and tell you what to do there. He's got his kettlebell. He's with us out on the field there. And I just distinctly remember it's dark. The only thing I can see is like this floodlight at the other end of the sports field, and then just the silhouette of Ernie just swinging his kettlebell and just shouting at kids like, what are you doing, whenever anyone stopped. And he wouldn't stop either. So you're like, well, there's no reason for me to stop now. Yeah, so he developed, at one stage we used to sort of talk about the terminology of, when you're a kid, you get the box and it has the different shapes, and then you like put the circle through the circle and the square through the square. And we're like, other schools have developed this, good rowing style, and they're all like technically proficient and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, if you hit it hard enough, you can put the square through the circle, man. So like that was our approach with everything. And it was just about building this relentless character, almost similar to kind of what like the Eastern Bloc countries used to do back in the day. It's just, you've got this pool of athletes, overdo it, whoever sticks is going to be champion. And then that's just ended up, a couple of us managed to survive through this whole thing. And then, we ended up, winning national titles and all that nonsense. But the foundation of that character building, we call it, is stuck with me all the way through.
Yeah, I think it's so important that you build that character
Yeah.
early on in your career and you learn.
Yeah.
I think harder for you guys. I mean, you're at Hilton, so you're far away.
Yeah.
Rowing was tough for you. It wasn't like for us. It was easy. We get on a bus. An hour away.
Yeah.
It's simple. You guys, you're not racing as much because it's a 4-hour track with a trailer. Pack your boats. So it was a much bigger thing for you guys to race. So I always think it's tougher because it's not easily accessible.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of grind and a lot of training and we all love racing. That's why we do it. There's not many that go, I love those.
Exactly.
Those early mornings.
Yeah, exactly.
I love crossing the line first, but like all the work that we have to do to get there makes a difference.
Yeah, 100%. Like at no stage am I lining up after having gone through what Ernie's put me through and going, I'm definitely the fuck not losing this race after going through all of that. So yeah.
That's really cool. And I think those are what makes it special.
Yeah.
Is that hard work and that grind. And I think so many people can relate back to those sort of stories. Maybe not coaches as hard as Ernie. I mean, I coached with Ernie a little bit, and he's a tough man.
Yeah.
But I mean, the results showed, and nothing but winning was good enough. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, it shapes you.
Yeah.
And then like jumping into rowing from that sort of school environment into a national squad sort of system. How much more scientific was that sort of program compared to something in a school system where it was we're gonna work hard, we're gonna try to break you, and if you stick, you're gonna be fitter than the other kids, and you're gonna be tougher, and that's gonna push you along.
Yeah, it took a lot of getting it very, very wrong joining a national program because obviously the kind of one that was run at school was very low volume, so every day everything can be a nail and you can just absolutely hammer it. But you go from that to rowing 240 kilometers a week. It's plenty of time to do things way too hard. And I've spent plenty of periods just going to a training session, literally just coming back, sleeping until the next session, doing the next one, coming home, sleeping. Like it is just, you get it wrong plenty of times. And it takes a bit of that maturing and understanding, okay, now we're part of a bigger picture where you've got dedicated physiologists that are trying to break down exactly how much time you should be spending in certain zones, developing certain physiological aspects, and it took some adjusting. It probably took me. Well, it takes everyone actually a couple of months to come in, and it was always funny to see new people join a Lesotho training camp coming from just a university program, and they are just absolutely smoked. They just spend 3 weeks basically just being a corpse limping to and from sessions and their bed. But eventually once you get it right, you understand sort of the more professional side of things and what you're actually trying to achieve. But I always try to make sure that I still didn't lose the idea of like, at the end of the day, you just got to win. Like you can do all the training, you can feel like you deserve, your medal because you've trained nice and hard and you've committed and you've done every session to the prescription. But at the end of the day, you've just got to be ruthless enough that when you line up, you're like, all right, I'm choosing to win now, and that's it. And that never goes away.
I think that's it. You've got to be a champion to be a champion.
Yeah.
No one's going to win it for you.
Yeah.
No one cares about you.
Yeah.
The only time that oak lining up next to you cares about you is when you take his gold medal away.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, like if you think about an Olympic final, cool, there's 6 boats that qualify through to that final. Every single one of them deserves to be Olympic champion. Like there's no reason that the guys from Italy who've also done ridiculous training don't deserve to be Olympic champion. But then like you can't just go off who deserves it. So we always had a saying that you don't get what you deserve, you get what you take. And then when you line up, just got to take it. doesn't matter whether you had shit training, good training. If you take it, you cross the line first, you're the winner. Yeah.
And how is that sort of mentality? How do you lever off that in the HYROX space now? A little bit different for you. Like I suppose in school you rode a lot of the single,
Yeah.
so individual, but like predominantly in your national squad, like you said, a lot of time spent in the four.
Yeah.
How is that?
Yeah, so obviously rowing this, it's so difficult because on the water, it's not the same as the rowing machine where you can just thug this thing out, and if you go harder, the number goes faster. A lot of the time, if you just try and go harder in the boat, you start doing things inefficiently that actually affect the boat speed, and you start slowing it down and applying negative force to the places that you shouldn't have. So I've always enjoyed sports where if I'm not winning, you can just go harder and then you win. But rowing it's not like that, unfortunately. And especially when you're in a crew boat like the four, I could thug it out in the single, which is why I think I was so good there, under 23s, a world championship run there and all that stuff, beating guys that are like this big. But when you get to your crew boats, you need to maintain that synchronization and the technical aspect and stuff, which was frustrating at times because you're half a second down on someone, you just want to go harder, you just want to win, but you need to have some kind of maturity about it and how you apply that force. But moving into HYROX now, like there's no skill, man. It's just even on the rowing machine, like I look at my technique, I'm like, oh god, that burns my eyes. But I don't need to move a rowing boat fast. I just need to move a wheel fast, and there's no negative force you can apply. So yeah, for me coming into this now, I'm like, literally, if I'm losing, you just go harder and then you can win. And it's as simple as that. That's all it is. There's no skill behind it. Obviously, there's efficiencies and stuff that you can build, but at the end of the day, just go harder. Yeah.
And how's that? I mean, you've tell us how you found HYROX. I mean, it's fairly new in South Africa.
Yeah.
But it's been a buzzword. I mean, HYROX has been around. Everyone's like, yo, HYROX is like so new. It's like, no, HYROX has been around for like 9 or 10 years.
Yeah.
And it's booming now. But how did you end up finding HYROX?
Yeah, so that was it. I mean, after I retired from the Olympic team, maybe we'll go back. We'll see. It's not off the cards. I was just like, cool. Like I said, I'm going to try everything still. I still want to push my body, challenge it, but in different ways now. Like I spent a lot of time geared around this 2,000 meters of rowing. I wanted to do different stuff. So that's why I did the Sky 100 run. Never been a fan of the David Goggins style stuff. I don't think it's that impressive to just be uncomfortable for a long period of time. It's not the same as performing for a long period of time.
Yeah.
But we can talk about that maybe later. Then did a bit of powerlifting, and I was like, I've spent so much time working on this aerobic base, and like we were always quite strong as on the rowing team, especially as a heavyweight man. Like power cleans were also very good, deadlifts and stuff. And I was like, well, how strong can I get? So I decided to spend, I think it was like 12 months working under Matt Becker. And he got me there. So I was chasing the 300 deadlift. I realized it would take a little bit more time to get there, but I ended up with like 275 on the deadlift, like almost 230 on the squat, like big numbers. Are like you're like crazy. This is cool. So push that limit, understand like just how strong you can get, kind of thing. And then HYROX came up on the radar, this like fitness race, and you know what? It actually sold me, and it's so funny because I just had blinkers on. I just saw it. There's 1,000 meters of rowing in this race, and I'm like, I'm going to win this thing. Fucked up. Like that's it. There's 1K of rowing in this race.
No one
the
can
end of it. I'm winning this whole thing. Anyways, over like the whole hour, it's insignificant. But then the row, especially, is just the least significant part of a whole HYROX race. So my 108 kilogram ass decided to do Cape Town, and it didn't actually go that badly considering I'd done literally no cardio or anything in like the last 2 years. I think it was like an hour 11 or something that I ended up with. And I was just like, shit, if I just focused on this, I could be quite good. Because also in the rowing team, what we would do was obviously have the infamous 2,000 meter test, but we called it a bar one day.
Yes.
So it's the idea of the bar one. If you eat a bar one, you get 25 hours in a day, and this testing protocol was 25 hours long, so that's why the name stuck. But essentially, whatever time it was, 9 a.m. Basically, we'll go off that. You start the 2,000 meter test. Then you come back again in the evening and you do 5,000 meter test. And then the next morning, again, 9 a.m., you start the 17K test. So it's 3 trials. And then the 17K takes roughly an hour. So you end up with this 25-hour day, your bar one day. And I was always very, very good over that 17K, that hour domain. And I was thinking back to that after the Cape Town HYROX that I did, just super unfit. And I was like, I'm so good over an hour. Like, this sport is made for me. I just need to learn how to run, and obviously not be as
big as I am.
Yeah, just change the powerlifter shape for something a little bit more athletic. And yeah, then 10 months later, yeah, sitting on a 56.5 minutes PB. So yeah.
So fast.
It's getting there.
That's good.
It's getting there. Yeah.
Not slow.
Yeah.
Give us your numbers for like a bar one day.
Yeah, okay, so my best ever, but also remember, everyone who did HYROX Joburg, this is important as well. You'll appreciate this thing because everything was done at altitude. But anyway, so it was 5:55 on the 2K, I think 15:51 on the 5K trial.
Yeah.
And then it was just under 142 average per 500 meters for the whole 17K. So it was like 55 minutes or something like that.
Okay, so those are like, those are big numbers.
Yeah.
Like there's not a lot of people holding like a 142 split at HYROX in the 1K. And you're doing that, you were doing that for 17.
Yeah,
for 17K.
Yeah, and we always said, gold standard at the Olympics was going under 6 minutes in Johannesburg for the 2K.
Yeah.
And, anywhere overseas, that's a mediocre university program time. But altitude
in Joburg,
massive thing.
What you're saying, like 15 seconds, you reckon, probably?
I think it was between sort of 8 to 12 seconds.
Okay.
Over the 2,000
on the 2K on the erg.
Yeah, so that puts it exactly where every other team's sort of gold standard was, in that sort of 5:45 area, down at sea level, which is exactly what it was. Sean and Lawrence were just breaking the 6 minutes when they won silver in Rio. It all correlates to the numbers. And it's not so much, everyone talks about, but we don't try to make the ergo our big thing. We try to row well. Like, no, man, Sean and Lawrence were absolute thugs. Those
pull the erg.
They cranked. So when they won silver in Rio, it wasn't because they rowed well, it's because they were absolute animals.
Yeah.
So, that relative standard is very different when you're up in Joburg. I think actually all my PBs are training sessions at capped rate down at sea level. I think my 6 kilometer at like rate 24 or something is faster than my free rate 5K up in Pretoria. So it's crazy. Yeah. Crazy.
It's wild. Wild numbers. Just like, it's always interesting for people to go like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
So you're doing like my 500 PB for like 2K.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
It's
wild.
Yeah,
wild.
Different ball game.
Okay, cool. So so you race Cape Town. You decide, I'm going to give it a go.
Yeah.
What has it taken to get to that 56 minutes? That's
a lot of running injuries. Because again, just if you have a square, just put it through the circle. That was my approach. Like, cool, I'm just going to run as much as possible until I'm the best possible runner for this whole thing. So a lot of brute force. Went through periods of shin splints, hips, all of it, just whatever was injured. And then I'm also the worst with that. I'm not like, okay, I'm going to take a 3-week period now to rehab and stuff. If it's feeling somewhat okay, 2 days later, I'm going on my run. I'm going to the track. I'm going to send it. And, most of the time, these niggles and stuff just disappear in like 2 weeks of just kind of ignoring them. So that's always been my approach. But basically just... for me, it was a lot of running. Obviously, losing weight was a big one. So I'm 20 kilograms down from that first HYROX race.
Sure, that's big.
Yeah, that's huge. It makes a big difference there. But then the nice thing as well is that it is a volume game, this HYROX thing. And at least it's not a single modality. Like it was difficult to put down the 24 to 28 hours of rowing on the Olympic team because you're doing one modality. Obviously, we would throw in literally one run a week, and then the rest of it was kind of cycling for our cross training. But you're doing a single modality, so a lot of the time I dealt with stress fractures and ribs and everything from this just repetitive movement. Whereas now, if I'm going to do my 3 hours of aerobic work, I can get on the rower, I can row 20 minutes, and if I decide fuck this machine, I'm really not feeling it, I can go do whatever I want. I can get on the assault bike, I can get on the Concept2 bike, I can go ski, I can go run, I can do whatever it is. And then I can get my 3 hours pretty easily with very minimal risk in terms of
Injury.
Yeah, injury and all that kind of stuff. So it was actually pretty easy to get back to sort of an elite level of volume to be completed. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I suppose it's not one thing.
Yeah.
You're not sitting on the water 90 minutes, 20 Ks at a time,
exactly.
trying to get the blade in the water at the right time.
Yeah.
Like feel the boat, release it, all of those sort of tiny nuances that you work on.
Yeah.
I mean, running, have you had to change your technique and how you run and how easy or hard has that been?
Yeah, so I'm still getting there, but I think it's come a long way. I think a couple of guys that have seen me kind of over this journey have said that my running's looking very smooth, and even when I look at it, I'm like, okay, it's in a much better place than it was. But again, at the end of the day, like something like running, your body's going to naturally find a very efficient way to do it. So I'm pretty happy with where I'm at the moment. I'm not getting injured. My biggest thing has just been like a little bit of health issues, but in terms of how my body's functioning, the conditioning, all of that stuff, like I think it's right there. I just need to get back to just spending those hours on whatever machine I feel like.
And I think so. You're at sort of 56 minutes. You're knocking on the door of Elite 15.
Yeah.
What does next year look like? What does next season look like to try and get there? What do you think's the missing piece?
Yeah, so obviously started off, and it just seemed like every 10 weeks I'm doing a HYROX race, even though I didn't really like plan it like that. And it does interfere a lot with just making general progress to actually get faster instead of just preparing for races the whole time. So for me, even this Joburg race was really just a training exercise. I'm working towards sort of end of March next year. That's where I'm going to pick up my racing season again. And I'll probably try race 3 to 4 races in Europe over a month and a half, come back for a little bit of time, and then go back again for another month and a half and do another 3 to 4 races that side. And again, all of it is just chasing that qualification time, because that Hamburg race where I got 56:30, again, the health issues, I was a little bit on the conservative side. So I'm very confident that even though the elite times are probably going to converge on about, I would say 54:50 as the qualifying time, I'm very confident that I can probably get myself into the area of the 54:30 by then. And that's the number, that's what has to happen. And
then so how does that work? So you run that qualifying time, you're Elite 15, and then...
So basically what they'll do is they take your 2 best times that you've run in a men's pro race in the last year, and it's just kind of like a rolling sort of maintenance of that time. And then they rank you, cool. In the world, you can go see it on the website where you are at the moment. And then there's certain dates where there's a cutoff date, and whoever's in the top 15 at that time, you get to race basically whatever the next major is. And there are 4 majors in a year, and the top 3 at each of those majors then get a spot at the World Championships for the Elite 15.
Okay, so I suppose that's the end goal.
Yeah, that's
the World Champs.
Yeah,
Elite 15.
I'm not here to play games. If I'm going to do this thing and commit as much time as it, I'm going to be world champion. Like, that's in my head. That's where I'm going.
Okay, awesome. And I love that mentality. I think it's good for people to see that you're putting it out there, and this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about, there's this big drive that all of a sudden HYROX is going to be an Olympic sport, and you had an opinion on a run about that.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? What is your thought process around that?
Yeah, I've always maintained that the Olympics should be how these output-based sports. The traditional, like how fast, how high, how far, all that kind of stuff. But then it also does reach a point where, like, why HYROX? Why not CrossFit? Why not Deca? Why not any other kind of fitness style race? And I get that they're ambitious and they want to capitalize on that kind of opportunity. But if you just keep widening, what the core Olympic sports are, then anyone's going to end up going to the Olympics. If you've got enough sports, everyone can be an Olympian. Anyone can be kind of Olympic medalist, which is not what you want. At the end of the day, it's about choosing, a couple of of sports that then expose, how fast, how high, etc.
Yes.
And then putting on a pedestal genetic freaks, because that's what the Olympics is about. Is someone else is just better than you. Because at the end of the day, that's how it goes. Someone, Magnus Carlsen's crazy at chess and he just beats everyone there and we celebrate that. Usain Bolt was a ridiculous runner. We want to put these on a pedestal and say, these people are just better than you and there's nothing you can really do. Even if you train really hard, and this guy, he also trains hard, but he's just better than you. And we want to see that. You want to go, wow, this is crazy. The circuit goes really fast. Where HYROX fits into that, I don't think it really does. Because again, why not CrossFit and all of this kind of stuff?
Yeah.
So, I don't think it should be an Olympic sport. If it is, I'm not going to say no to going back to the Olympic Village and all that kind of stuff. I would go with it, but I wouldn't agree with it.
Okay, I mean that's an interesting viewpoint, I suppose. That the way we look at an Olympic sport, because we've I suppose been involved in traditionally rowing is an Olympic sport, and that is the pinnacle. It's what we look forward to. It's what we watch every 4 years. The Olympics is coming. We'll see who the best in the world are. And I suppose it's hard to not think that it should be something like that. When we look at the Olympics.
100%.
Your opinion on, I was quite excited to see that HYROX are doing something about doping and they're going to start testing and making that a little more formal. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's a good start. The elite license, it is an important start. We need to get on top of the doping side of things, especially when there's a fair sum of prize money to be dished out here for winning majors, for winning world championships and stuff. Then the incentive for this kind of stuff does start creeping in. HYROX is also kind of a show pony sport, so I feel like a lot of the people that have got into it, probably more predisposed to taking these kind of things. But at the end of the day, I do see there being a line between HYROX also being this super inclusive sport that everyone can do. Then I don't really care if you're doing the men's open and you're geared to the nines and you're just there to showboat on the sleds. Cool, bro, you do you. But when it comes to the fact that at the top end, there is an elite set of athletes that are now fighting it out to show who's actually worked harder, who is genetically better, not just who can take the most amount of freaking roids and all that kind of stuff. There needs to be a line drawn. So it's a good start that they have these testing protocols. I think it needs to go a lot further if they want to make this an elite sport. Something like having the WADA, that whereabouts protocol. That's what I lived on, and it's not an invasion of privacy. It's just something that you give up if you want to perform at the top level and be recognized as a top athlete. You need to give up the fact that for an hour a day, you need to have a location that at any stage someone can come and test you. And it needs to be like that. It's not just about arriving at a particular race and then they test you in retrospect there. Because there's ways to get around that. I think there's probably people that still beat the whereabouts system. It's not perfect, but I think at the moment that's where it needs to be. So I would like to see, considering that I've paid myself this 297 euros or whatever it was to have my elite license to play my part and be able to race an elite race. I would expect that something like that gets implemented very soon.
Okay. And I suppose it should transform to that, and that should start to happen in the sport, because we do want to see fair sport. That is key in determining who is actually the best. Circling back on that, most random drug test you've ever had? Someone showed up. I can remember John Smith posting some stuff at midnight. He's they knocked on my door.
So the thing is with the WADA protocol, that whereabouts protocol is, you basically, when they notify you that they've arrived in your time slot, and I always used to, I don't know why, the thoughts of having mine at early in the morning always used to be that's the worst. So I would always do it in the evening. But then that actually in retrospect was just terrible. So I think I had mine between 7 and 8 at night. So I'll probably always be at home at this time. But I was still part of the under 23 kind of team feeding into the Olympic team. And, we would have we would go out, we would have quiz nights. Like, we were still not very mature about the high performance thing. Like, we would go out, have quiz night, and then just get like slaughtered in the club somewhere. And I remember being in the Hatfield strip there the one day, and like, there my phone rings, I get a phone call, and I'm like, oh fuck, who is it? And yeah, no, it's it's Sades. They're at my place now, and they want to test me, and I'm like, oh. Now I'm like super drunk in jollies. I'm like, oh man, now I need to get an Uber, make it home in 15 minutes so I don't have this missed test and stuff. But yeah, got back. Luckily had enough beers that I didn't have a problem getting it out. But yeah, that was one of the more stressful ones. But otherwise, yeah, they're brutal. Hey? They'll arrive at any time of day, even outside of your testing slots. And generally, they come in and do it. But yeah, if you've said that's your time slot, they will come and they'll test you.
They will test you.
Yeah, and without flaw as well, they would always come to our high altitude camp in Lesotho. They would basically just rock up their whole team, and then just our entire squad, just bloods and everything taken. So yeah,
okay, cool.
It was good.
Yeah, I mean, it is good that's happening. I think it's positive. We want to know that we're clean and we're doing things the right way.
Yeah.
HYROX, I mean, the sleds and all of the things that are happening, obviously some carpet changes and that sort of thing. Any opinions on that? And
no, I think we always rowing was had far more variance in it, and I feel like our 2019 attempt at qualifying the men's four, like that was just blatant conditions. I mean, the whole track came down angled like this. And then, I think crews that qualified for the Olympics that shouldn't, they did. But at the end of the day, we had the saying that any lane, any day, you should be good enough. So when you arrive there, your sled sticks a bit, you just fucking get on with it, man. Like, just push the thing. It's, whether it goes 30 seconds slower than what you're used to, just
push it and make it.
Yeah.
Make it work.
Exactly, yeah. You got to do it anyways. They're not going to come and be like, I'm sorry, here's 15 seconds off your sled time. So just get it done.
Well just push hard and make it happen.
Yeah.
Have you given yourself a timeline on HYROX or?
No, I think it's something that's in that longer endurance domain. So I think there's a lot more longevity in it. I think rowing, I would now be reaching. I'd say LA is probably my last shot if I want to do this thing. But beyond that, I think the endurance side of things, you look at the triathletes and everything, there's a lot more longevity in it there. So I'm going to give myself, whether it's 1, 2, 3 years to be world champion and see how it goes, see where I end up, placing and all that kind of stuff. It is difficult at the moment, at least, self-funding all these Europe trips to go and race because we just don't have enough here. We race Cape Town, which is fine, but Joburg is not a qualifying event, as we saw. I mean, 7 minutes slower. I think poor Jake didn't got a skrik racing that one. But yeah, I think no real timeline on it. As long as I'm still enjoying it and I'm still passionate about it and I still feel like it's challenging me, then I'm going to be in this thing.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Excited to see you progress and keep moving on up. I think I always say, like, South Africans are almost like we're an elite race.
Yeah.
We've proved it in so many sports and so many things. So it's always exciting to see new people in new sports putting their hands up and going, well, the Saffers are here and we're gonna show you what we're made of.
Yeah, 100%. It's also why, like, I put a lot of my training out there just on social media. Like, I don't really care what people think of it. Like, oh, this guy went slow today, fast today. I just want to sort of also get people to understand that, like, there's levels to this stuff and you can do it as well. Like, I can't be the only men's pro athlete that's gone under 60 minutes. That's just that's not okay. People need to come with. And I feel like being and what I learned the most from that rowing environment was that every day you're with people that are just trying to beat you, and like if they're better than you, they drag you along and everyone gets better together. So I'm kind of just trying to put stuff out there, and then hopefully people go, okay, cool, let me try this then, or let me try go do this a little bit harder. And then it just pulls that general standard with, because again, I do think South Africans, we're just built to win. Like when it comes down to just grinding it out and winning, I think we're built like that. So there's no reason that we can't have full house on the Elite 15 grid.
I mean, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Before we go, your favorite rowing session?
Nothing beats the 8-500. Literally as simple as that. Set them up on the Concept2 machine, 500 meter intervals, minute and a half rest, and then it's maximum every single time. And I think the idea is not to even have consistent pace, or I know a lot of the time you want to have intervals where you start off, moderately conservative and then kind of get a little bit quicker as you go. This one is just put it out there, whatever you can put out. You rest a minute and a half. You're going to go slower every rep, and that's just what it is. And it is just organ melting stuff. But again, it builds it up here more than anything else.
Tell us a little bit about. So you talked a little bit about David Goggins and like your mental fortitude and how Ernie worked on that a little bit. And you've done a sky run, that's always wild, 100 Ks in the mountains.
Yeah.
Um,
I think there's you can appreciate these kind of things like these ultra marathons where people kind of just slog it out at snail's pace. But at the end of the day, it's not really a performance. It's not an elite performance. I think anyone can be uncomfortable. You push through pain and you keep going. Like even my sky run experience, like I wasn't very, I didn't do nearly enough conditioning for it. I think so. I had no skin on my feet at the end of 30 Ks. I still had like 70. It ends up being like another 8 kilometers over what the prescribed 100 was. It was a 108K event basically. But the next 78 kilometers, I literally just shuffled, through the night. It was the longest night of my life. Honestly, just watching 2 sunrises, no skin on your feet, and you're just walking through the Wittenberg Mountains. Like, like I slogged it out, like it was cool. But, anyone can do that. Anyone can just walk and just not stop. So for me, I'm like, I get it, and I commend you if you're doing these kind of things because they are hard, but they're not elite performances. It doesn't make you an elite athlete. Like when you watch Kiptum run the 21K and he ran like 240 a K, he ran the world record 15K. As part of that 21, like that kind of stuff is just mind blowing. Like reaching the top shelf, not just operating down here for a long time, like going to the most disgusting dark places, then doing that for a long time, like that's impressive. But David Goggins style, like he runs and he talks about who's going to carry the boats and stuff like that. But like, cool, mate, you do nothing for a long time. If I'm honest, that's just my opinion on it. Yeah.
Yeah, and look, I think a strong opinion and not wrong.
Yeah.
I think you're in a unique group where you have the physiology to reach that top shelf.
Yeah.
And I think that's often what a lot of people misunderstand. Is it takes a lot of things to make you who you are, to give you the ability to run a 56 minute HYROX, to row a 5:55 at altitude, to do these things. There are I suppose there's biomechanics and physiology that you were gifted with genetically, and then you have to add on and do all the work and do all the grind and make sure you're ticking the boxes.
100%. I mean, like, for me, like I know my max heart rate is somewhere between like 199 and 204 in that area, but I'll spend majority of my HYROX race above 193 minutes. Like after 8 minutes, I'm above that 95% mark and even reaching 200 and stuff. So it's like to operate in that area for an hour, everything is just melting inside, and then to keep going at that point, like for me, that's way more impressive, rather than just, we can just keep shuffling
it along.
A couple of blisters are inconvenient or whatever it may be, but to go into the dark places and stay there, that's where I really appreciate athletes.
And I mean, so we talk a bit about physiology. Any tests that you've done, any like wild off the scale physiology, or you just?
No, I think I keep it quite standard. Obviously, the running stuff has come into play. So for me, the 10K domain was where it was at, but now I'm looking at, I want to put out an hour 10 half marathon. I think if I can do that at 88 kilograms, I think that's probably going to lead to me being world champion. So that's the goal that I have, because for me, the stations in HYROX are not particularly difficult. Obviously, if I've under pressure like I was in Joburg, the back end of that whole thing just falls apart and wall balls and lunges just become complete shit show. But everything up until that point, like I genuinely look at it and I think, my race in Maastricht before got the heat stroke side of things, like I genuinely think I'm fastest in the world through those first 5 stations. but it's then, the running side of things that come into it. So for me, a lot of the tests that I want to do now are really around those half marathon area sort of running distances.
And where are you now?
I've done a minute on, minute off session. We just did 26 kilometers doing that. And I think that ended up averaging like 3:46. It's like a hour 16 half marathon.
Okay.
But so that was 26 kilometers there. I've never done a road race. So
Okay.
I need to. My company is doing one in February, and that'll be my first ever road race, a half marathon. So we'll see. I don't know if I'm down. I'm definitely not down at the hour 10 yet, but if I can do hour 12, hour 13, that would be a good start. Yeah.
That is cooking.
We'll see. Yeah.
So, in your opinion, HYROX is a running race?
It's difficult. At first I thought it wasn't, then I thought it was, but now I think it's really a mix. My thing is it's an aerobic race. Yes, the majority of it is running. I don't think you need to be a particularly good runner. I think you need to be proficient at running, but at the end of the day, you just need to be really good at using oxygen coming into your body. And then you just need to not be weak. That's my thing. I thought, okay, cool. If you're strong, you need to be strong for HYROX. That's been proven not the case. You don't need a ridiculous absolute strength base. You just need to not be weak. And I think that's where it does quite nicely balance out, because you don't have, Kipchoge just coming in and then winning HYROX, because there is that, if I must say, he's weak in terms of what.
Yeah, the sled's going to be, a pro sled's going to be hard.
Yeah. So establishing that minimum level of applied strength and then being aerobically, revoltingly good, that's where it needs to be. So yeah, that's my opinion on it. I don't even think, if you look at Charlie Bottrell, I don't think he runs particularly a high volume, but his aerobic base and his aerobic work is huge.
Huge.
Yeah.
Interesting take on it, I think it's also, it'll evolve because it's new.
Yes.
In the greater scheme of things, it's been around for a long time, but now people are giving it a real go.
Yeah.
And assessing the physiology and where those numbers are.
Yeah, and it's crazy just to see like the different shapes and sizes of everyone kind of stacking up on that elite field. But I do think it's going to converge to a taller, leaner athlete. So I think probably, myself 4 kilograms lighter, I think that's going to be the optimal for HYROX thing, because you've got that easy base level of applied strength, and then you still light enough that you're able to run pretty brisk, but you then at least got this huge aerobic capacity behind you as well.
So you say 4 kilograms lighter, does that affect the sled? You're so strong on the sleds now.
I thought so, but again, like from the powerlifting, I still have a ridiculous surplus of absolute strength. Like there's no reason for me to have any of this kind of stuff. Like I still walk into the gym now and, I push out like 120 on the bench press kind of stuff, squat close to 180. I don't need that. You don't need anything close to that. And in fact, it doesn't even mean anything. So I've worked a lot on just like my single leg stuff, like conditioning for the lunges and all that. I think that's where it's at, is at applied strength. So I've still got so much strength that I can just throw away. Even coming from, 108 kilogram powerlifter to now, just because my conditioning is better, my sleds move faster at 88 kilograms now. So 4 kilograms is not going to make a difference.
Not going to make a difference to that. And the amount of strength training you're doing now, you'll split between?
So I'll do 2 lower sessions, but it's really just in and out, get the conditioning work done. A lot of it is sort of contrast training. So I'll do moderately heavy back squats with like box jumps, and then trap bar deadlift with like bounds. But it's more than building, the power base and coordination side of things, rather than trying to be stronger, because I don't need that.
Yeah.
So it's a 30-minute session in and out both times. And then, it's a show pony sport. So I have some upper body scheduled in there twice a week just to do some bicep curls, and also just like all-round development, because at the end of the day, that is why we do all these things, is to be, better at life. It's not just about going in there and like, yes, I'm very much got my blinkers on, just being the best in the world at HYROX, but I still want to be able to, be an all-round awesome dad for my daughter and all that kind of stuff. So you got to at least keep it somewhat holistic.
That's a fair point. And you are racing with your shirt off, so
exactly.
But a bench has got to, it's got to fit in there somewhere.
Don't want to look like Tyson Fury out there.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. for your time and for the insight. I think it's been really good. Always nice to speak to athletes and figure out what they're doing.
Yeah.
Thank you for being so open. I think it's really exciting for everyone. I know I love following and watching your sessions and seeing what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I think it makes a difference to everyone out there. And it gives people, I suppose, something to aspire to. You often talk to people. I mean, there was one session you did. You'd been at a golf day.
Oh, yeah.
You had some beers and then rolled in and did like a threshold session.
Yeah.
And one of the guys at Joburg came to me. He's like, "Did you see that oak?" He's like, "He was drunk and he's faster than me." I was like, "Yeah, bro, you got to train harder."
Yeah, exactly.
So I think it's good for people to see what's possible.
Yeah.
And I think that's so important for South Africans we're generally so closed to open up and share and work together.
Yeah. I think that's a big thing for me as well. Is like, no matter where I end up going in the sport, like I never ever want to get somewhere by stepping on other people or like trying to shut off, the fact that they can do better. Like if I race someone and I win, I want them to be at their best. Like I don't want to beat someone and they're like, "Oh, this oak was sick," like it doesn't feel as good.
Yeah.
So I want to beat everyone when they're at their best. That's how it is. And so I'll always be open with that. Also, like I couldn't really give a shit about if I win or lose. Well, obviously I care about it, but if I lose, I'm going to come back next time. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Eventually I'm going to win. And so I don't mind posting my failures and fuck ups on Instagram. Everyone can see it. They can say what they want. But it's there for you to see what it's raw and really like being an athlete.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Excited to see you progress and see you standing on top of the HYROX world.
Yeah, let's see how it goes. There's still a lot of work to do.
There we go. I trust you will do it. Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.